About 2 years ago to the day, I stood in this exact spot announcing that we were going to start mainstream car reviews. And at that point, I had no idea what that meant or how much work it was going to be. But here I am. This is a retrospective of everything that's gone into this. We are officially entering the mainstream car review market. And even that kind of makes me laugh because, seriously, most of our content's pretty offensive. But what we hope to do is to take a risk here. And the risk is it's going to be hard to take everyday cars and make it interesting to watch. We don't do too many wide shots. We get real close because you try to fart on me all the time. The in the shop part, you know, this is a strange part of doing these videos and probably the best part because it's it's more about hanging out a lot of times.
Looking at some junks.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking at these cars, but a lot of times it's just to hang out. That's the more fun part because you start getting into these mainstream cars and you just want to fall asleep looking at them. Yeah, and then you got to try to talk about it, and people say, you get these comments where, like, you guys just don't seem that interested or excited. I'm like, dude, you know, you're trying to rehash information, so show something different, but a lot of it is really boring. But yeah, that's really the shop part. So we come in here, we do all the bullshit commentary. We look at stuff. Sometimes we're prepared. You're prepared. Sometimes we're prepared, and sometimes there's mistakes that are made because it's so impossible to get every little bit of information right on every single car. So
right, you always have that one person that analyzed every freaking spec on the cars. God, how do you not know that?
Right, and that's true. I mean, technically, in all fairness, doing this, it's something we should know. Is like all the little details, but it's just not.
But it's overwhelming. You can't know everything.
Yeah, and how do you put that in a message that people would care about?
Then you're gonna have this car for a week and it's gone, and
yeah, you don't do anything with
it.
Now, let me tell you a little bit how I approach my video projects, because it's only me. I don't have any help. It's me behind the camera, editing, sound, cinematography, that's it. And when it's only you have to be extremely creative and working in the confines of what you can do creatively. Now, I am no master filmmaker. I am not some genius, but what I'm extremely good at doing is getting a lot out of a little. So the first thing is gear, and I'm not going to talk about all the gear because nobody gives a shit about that. But I can tell you one thing is I don't have a huge investment in gear. I chose things specifically because I know exactly what type of shots and how to get them. I don't need to go and spend $6,000, $7,000 on a camera and a lens where I'm doing mostly static shots. And I see a lot of people on YouTube and online buying all this expensive shit to walk around shaky cam style doing vlogs, and it's a total waste of money. You can do that with a $500 camera. So I've selectively chosen the gear to get the best quality shots I can by myself, and obviously that's the confines of what I work with. Now here's the biggest part and the biggest frustration for me, because I have a full-time job. I have a career, and this is not that. This is a passion project. So when I get done working my 60-hour week at work, I get up on a Saturday or Sunday, weather permitting, and have to jam another 20 hours of filming in 2 to 3 days. That means getting up at 9 in the morning, and now it's 5:30. I've spent all day filming interior shots, exterior shots, commentary, sound clips, drone shots. And that leaves me with no days off, and it's extremely, and a lot of times I get just blow my top. I am such an angry individual a lot of times because I'm so stressed out with it. And I have sound clips that I cut out, which I'll throw you in one here from when I was in the Audi covered in mosquitoes. Fucking 6 cameras synced up, fucking bugs everywhere, all over me, fucking mosquitoes. Fucking hate this. So I know you're probably thinking, this guy's a little bitch. Look at him. He gets to play with all these little cars and he's crying about mosquitoes. And I think a lot of it, that is true because, you know, it's my own fault. I overextend myself. I have to work all these hours from a job and then go play with these cars and do all this film work. And that's the reality. And I think my biggest frustration is I look at a lot of people that do car videos, even the big outlets and the press people that I have met at events. They really don't have to do all this work. They just get in it and write an article on a website and don't have to produce a huge video that takes 40 to 80 hours. And I put that on myself because my big thing is I like filmmaking. I've liked it as a kid. I always was playing with cameras. And my dad had me watching movies since I was 3. And I thought, well, I should be in film school or something like that. And I knew by the age of like 16, everybody and their grandmother wants to go to Hollywood and be famous and make movies, music. They want to be musicians, porno stars, whatever the hell it is. I knew that was not going to happen logically.
Fucking Billy is...
Dude, just take the fucking helmet, dude.
I can't believe you come into my house. My house looking like this.
This is how I ride my crotch rocket. It won't fit you, dude. It's form-fitted.
Wow.
So I focused on a real career, something that I knew would be stable, that would pay the bills, give me most of the things that I wanted within reason. And now I can focus on this as a hobby. Kind of the last part of it is I take a different approach with cars in these reviews because I look at them as consumer products. These are not some monumental special thing. Just like makeup, shoes, accessories, electronics, phones, all the bullshit that we put so much value on that really means nothing, that people get so tied into. We put so much worth on these things. And I really approach it, I strip all that away. I look at it as a product, how it brings great joy, but I look at the problems, the pros and the cons of it. And I think so many people don't understand that. They tie their self-worth to the vehicle that they buy. They think this is an extension of me. This says who I am. And when I say this is bad, this is a piece of shit, whatever, they take it like I am cutting their heart out, that I have got into their family room and said they are a piece of shit, when all I'm talking about is the car. And I think people can't separate their own projections of self-worth or emotion onto the things that they own. And I don't approach that this way, and that's why I'm so detached from so many cars. They are things, they are cool, but that's not everything. One of the biggest things I wanted to talk about was getting press cars. And it's been one of the most difficult parts about this. Over the past 2 years, it's really taken me over 2 years to build these relationships. And my goal from day one was to create a video project that rivals big media outlets. I wanted to prove that an individual or a private company can meet or exceed somebody with huge resources, big crews, all of that. And I've been told that I've pretty much done my job. I've met my goals in doing that, and it's very good. Now, whether you hate my guts or not, whether you think my storyline, my messaging, all that stuff sucks, in terms of production value, I still hold it to a high esteem. I'm pretty proud of that. Now, what does that mean? Absolutely nothing, because we're still talking about products, right? And the other part of it is press cars. Behind this car, there are a ton of people with jobs who are at stake in controlling messaging, managing public relations. So if I go and I say this car is an utter piece of shit, that person who's in charge of the press fleet is going to be extremely uncomfortable because their manager is going to talk to them, and their manager is going to get talked to from the director or national PR manager to find out what the hell is going on. And not only that, PR managers from one company talk to everybody else. So in the case of Chicagoland, everybody knows everybody. And it's not just the manufacturers, it's the press companies. Like the biggest ones are like Cars.com, which is out of Chicago. Out of, I think, 20 of them are in the press association that knows everybody. So even if you piss off them, you're pissing off all the manufacturers. And you go to an event and do something stupid or say something wrong, your name gets around so fast that your head will spin. And a lot of this is they want to control the messaging. It's a very laid back, good group, but as soon as you piss off somebody, you are in big trouble. And it's the same that goes with big media, right? You have to control messaging, you have to control branding, you can't piss off the sponsors. So you have to be careful as a viewer of what you're watching, because it is a very, very controlled and rigged system a lot of times. And I'm not saying it in a negative way, it's just the reality. There's people buying this car and I piss those people off. Their jobs are at stake and shit rolls downhill. It's not all fun and games, is my point.